Hello, fellow nurse entrepreneurs. One of the things that I've always wanted to do was always wanted to help nurses work from anywhere, pretty much have that flexibility, pretty much have that freedom so that they could do whatever they wanted to do.
Joining VP Nursing was one of the best decisions that I could have ever made. If I was to have a regret, it would be that I didn't join sooner.
If they wanted to be with their children, if they wanted to be with their families, they can do exactly what they wanted to do.
Ola is the type of person, she's not going to let you stay the same. The way she levels up her clients in every area of their lives.
I could not have imagined being a nurse with my own business, being in this space with so many amazing people, with a coach that 1,000,000% cares about what my outcome is going to be.
And so here at VP Nursing, we teach nurses how to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money, owning their own time, building profitable nurse coaching, consulting, and service-based businesses. And so now we're at the beach and we're working at the beach and we're having a great time. We're doing a brand photo shoot. It's an amazing time. So if you want to learn how to work from anywhere around the world, creating that flexibility, creating that freedom for yourself, but monetizing the knowledge that you already have, join us at VP Nursing Business Academy. Hello, everybody. So good morning, good morning, good morning. We have Miss Sherri Austin here. Listen, and we've been having a good, robust conversation before we came on camera. But this is what I want to ask everyone to do. I want you to like, share. I want you to comment. I want you to tell us what you like about the podcast, what we can do better in order to serve you better. But we're going to get into the podcast. We're going to talk about Sherri. So Sherri, tell us who you are in your own words.
Okay, so I'm Sherri Austin, RN. I've been a registered nurse for 28 years, working in the critical care for 18 of those 28 years. And now since 2022, I've been doing longevity coaching. And what longevity coaching is I help you not just lose weight or get your health together, but this is for the rest of your life. And that's where the longevity piece comes into place. So I help ambitious women, powerhouse women, reduce belly fat, burnout, fatigue, and eliminate and reduce chronic illnesses.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's definitely something that is needed because a lot of times, we're in the space of working and we're doing all the things and our health sometimes comes last. I was just on a recording of one of a podcast guest who said that she had cancer and she was like, well, wait until I finish nursing school. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of, the things that happen sometimes. So Sherri, tell us, because I always ask this question, why did you even become a nurse?
Ooh, I would to say I was always interested. I remember when I was 3 or 4 years old and my dad got me a little Mickey Mouse medical bag with the stethoscope. And I knew then I was going to be something in medical. And then by the time I got to high school, I knew it was going to be nursing.
Now, what made it turn to nursing?
Well, my mom was a CNA. She's been a CNA since 1969.
My mama too.
Yes. So I would go to work with her. And I mean, she really cared about her patients. She worked in nursing homes, so long-term care. And that's what I thought I wanted to do too. I wanted to take care of my elder people and make sure that their final years are their best years.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So when you got into nursing, you went through nursing school. What made you choose critical care as your specialty?
Once I went through nursing school, actually, I thought I was going to do psych because we had, at the time, our state forensic hospital, Chattahoochee in Florida was open. And I was just fascinated. I was always fascinated with how the mind works, mindset, all of that, what drove these people to do what they did. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do psych nursing. And that the burnout got quick with that. And then I said, let me go to the hospital. And I was doing like med surg PCU. And then they floated me to ICU. And I think what it was is it's fast, life or death. And a lot of our patients we were saving and they were coming back and thanking us. And to take someone that was at the brink of death and be able for them to come back and thank you, that was gratifying for me.
I
And
love it.
I loved it ever since. I felt like I was actually doing something more so in the ICU.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And listen, us ER nurses, like we loved y'all ICU nurses. Y'all a little bit different. A lot of people think that ER nursing and ICU nursing is one and the same kind of, but it's not really. Like
No.
y'all like control. Like y'all like
Yes.
we like control chaos.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And so I don't ever get it when they send me down there. It's like it better be to take care of an ICU patient.
Listen, and we're all for that because we're
Yeah.
like, listen, I want you to go in there and take care of that ventilator, okay? Because I don't know what our numbers are half the time. All right.
Yes.
So I want you to take care of that ventilator so that I can go take care of my patients who are, critical
Yeah.
on this other side. So I love it. The traumas. So now tell me, something happened to you during the time you took a picture and were you looked at yourself and you
Yes.
were like, what's
Yes.
going on here? So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was my daughter when she graduated with her bachelor's degree. So of course that's a momentous occasion. We're taking pictures. And when I looked at the pictures, it was an eye opener. I don't know what I thought I was looking at when I looked in the mirror, because in my mind I was like maybe a good 12, size 12. No, I was like a size 26 in that picture. And I was like, no, I have to get myself together. So that started the journey. And on the way to getting weight loss surgery and getting the work up, that's when I found out how bad my health really was. And I think the reason why the signs didn't manifest was because of my age. I was 42 years old. So, but that's the age that you start seeing these illnesses. But mine was silent. I had no symptoms, no signs, no nothing, no high blood pressure, no diabetes. I wasn't short of breath. I had no swelling, nothing. Just routine workup. And that's when they saw that there was a serious problem with my heart.
Oh, so then
So,
did you have a family history of heart disease?
yes, my mom had 2 heart attacks in her 30s. It just never occurred to me that, and it should have, because she was very, very obese and she had 2 heart attacks. She, God willing, she made it out. She's alive today. But I don't know why the two didn't go together. And on top of it, like you said, as busy career women, we put ourselves last. I was married at the time, so I had a husband. I'm helping him. He was actually in school, so I'm working, paying all the bills. So I'm the only breadwinner. My daughter was in college. She had a baby, so I was helping her take care of my grandson and helping her so she can get her degree. So everything was last. I didn't take care of myself. I was eating on the go. I wasn't sleeping. I was working 60-hour weeks because I was paying everybody's bills. And I was there for everybody but myself.
Wow. We talked about that too. Really, we talk about that a lot because, I tell the story about my little girl when we were on our way to Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And this was, I stay on a plane now, but at that time, I probably hadn't been on a plane. That was probably my second trip. And we
Mm-hmm.
got on the plane. And when I say I hated pregnancy, it's an understatement. Okay. I hated pregnancy. And when the lady said to put the oxygen mask on yourself, I thought to myself, she done lost her mind. She don't know how, she don't know me. Okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody else has had a baby, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when she said put the oxygen mask on yourself, and what I realized is that I can't take care of you. I can't take care of anybody unless I take care of myself. And I think that
Yes.
this is one of the things that is a core principle, or one of the things that is a core thing when it comes to nursing, is that we are always taking care of everybody else, because you don't go to the bathroom, your
Mm-hmm.
patient's coding, your patient's sick as a dog, and you're trying to get all the antibiotics and the fluids in, and you
Mm-hmm.
just don't take care of yourself. So I think that that's a thing that nurses have to put their foot down and say, I've got to take care of myself in order to be able to take care of anybody else. Now, once
Yes.
you found out that you were, because you decided that you wanted to get the weight loss surgery
Yes.
now, and you found out that you had the heart disease, what are some of the core things that you started to do at that point? Because then, did they immediately let you go and have the surgery, or did you have to do some things?
No, I told them that I was going to do the surgery regardless. The surgery was in like 2 weeks, maybe
Uh-huh.
less. And I was like, no, because and luckily for me, normally if you have a certain amount of damage, which is normally 70%, then they want to put in a what we call a drug-eluting stent. So it's a stent to thin your blood, so you can't have any surgeries because now you're a high bleed risk. So I had told them, irregardless to what it showed, I didn't care. I was having the surgery, but thankfully, God is gracious. It was only 50% and it was not obstructing. So, and that's probably why I didn't have any symptoms, because it was not obstructing anything. So I was still getting blood flow. It was just limited. So I went ahead and I did the surgery. And what I did is, because this is where people make the mistake, they feel like the surgery is a fix-all. So they're going to go back to their normally, regularly scheduled habits of eating ho-hos and not exercising and not doing the things. And I've seen plenty of people gain weight after weight loss surgery. So it's not a fix, it's a tool. So from that moment on, I revamped my whole lifestyle. I ate an anti-inflammatory low-carb diet that I do to this day. That was a decade ago. I exercise at minimum 2 days a week. I did 4 when I wasn't working as much, but now I do 2, but it's full body, it's intense and vigorous. I still work out. I still take supplements. I take multivitamins. They told me I'd have to take multivitamins for life. Most people don't want to take anything, but you know, we live in this country and I love it for a lot of opportunities, but half of our food is GMO. We just got to face the facts. And so it's lacking the nutrients that we need. So if you're not taking a multivitamin, you're lacking nutrients and your body is going to tell.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And, you know, and that is so true, because at the end of the day, your health is your wealth. Like, I don't think that people, and I understood that from, very early on, because, early in the days, because I became a nurse when I was 19, I do believe. So yeah, I was an LPN when I was 19, right? So I came right out of high school. I didn't want to become a nurse. I wanted to become an engineer. My mama said, no, we ain't gonna send you to engineering school. You go to nursing school. I said, well, okay. So I went to nursing school, right? But at that time, I just didn't know. I didn't know that you gave Tylenol for a fever. Like, so my learning curve was really huge, right? And so you had, at that time, you had one big long program, and so if you made a certain GPA, you could get to your LPN, and then if you made a higher GPA, you could do your RN. So I didn't make that second GPA, and so I became an LPN. I was the LPN for about 10 years. But early on in your nursing career, one of the things that they teach you is Maslow's hierarchy, right? At the base of Maslow's hierarchy is your health. If your health is not good, then everything else just does not fall. Like, you don't have clarity, you have brain fog, you have and that affects your business, right?
Exactly.
It affects your ability to be able to do anything that you need to do. So I was, I've always been determined to do that. Now, tell me a little bit about some of the other measures that you took in order to ensure that you are good in this. And how did I guess I scratch that question. What made you shift your mindset? Because mindset is everything to me.
Yes. I think for me, it was the wake-up call, because I work in healthcare and I work in the ICU, and I see so many people end up either disabled because people don't realize when you have a bad heart, you can't breathe, you can't move around, your activity is very limited if your heart does not function, which places you on a disability. And I had a new grandson. So my thing was, one, I don't want to die. I want to actually visually see my grandson grow up and be able to talk to him. I don't want him to know me through my daughter, because I'm no longer around. So that was, and I was only 42 years old. So that's still pretty young. So that was my number one thought. And I kept that in mind. And it was like, I have to revamp my health so I could live. And then it went from so I can live with quality. Because my cardiologist said, oh, you'll live a long life. He says, but you'll have oxygen and pills and stuff like that. And when I thought about that, that's not quality.
Right.
That's not, I love to go to the beach. I can't go swimming if I got to be carrying around an oxygen tank.
Right.
And
Right.
who's going to wheel me on the sand? Do wheelchairs even go on sand? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's some invention, but yeah, I was like, I want to live a life. I travel. I want to do things. And I mean, so yeah, having a wheelchair, carting around an oxygen tank, carting around a suitcase full of pills. Yeah, none of that sounded appealing to me.
I
And
love
I
it.
was like, no, I'm going to change this.
I love it. I love it. And I love, the mindset of your why was your grandson, right?
Yeah.
And people have to have a why, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a why, then what happens is you spend your life, and this is another thing too. I don't think that some people they don't know this particular part about the heart. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the heart is a lot more pliable whenever you're a little bit older than it is whenever you're younger. Like you don't have any collateral circulation when you're younger. And that's the reason why
Yes.
when you hear people typically whenever they're 30 and 40 years old and they can drop dead of a heart attack
Yes.
and never come back, right? And this
Mm-hmm.
one guy, I was like, because he was like one of my mentors, one of my fathers, and he was in the hospital one time. And I rolled in, and they were talking about his troponin. Now, for those of you who don't know what a troponin is the test that determines whether you are having heart muscle damage and you're having a heart attack, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so your troponin is supposed to, I want to say it's 0 to 0.5. Like a 0 is really low. His
Mm-hmm.
troponin was 70.
Oh, yeah, that's high. That's
Yeah.
definitely
And I was like, now that 70 and a 35-year-old would have killed him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because he was older gentleman, so he had collateral circulation. And
Mm-hmm.
so that helped him to not, drop dead. And
Yeah.
obviously I don't want him to drop dead ever, but it was just crazy how that all happened. So what are some things that you decided to go into business for yourself?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about you going into business for yourself and why did you make that shift and want to do that?
The shift for me was, I love traveling and I love nursing, so it was a good fit for me. But it's changed a lot, and I felt like the hospitals were placing the nurses and the patients in dangerous situations with the short staffing. That was one of it. Two, when you're working a job, you only can make as much as the cap is or the overtime that you're allowed to make. When you have your business, that is the sky is the limit on what you want to make. You set the cap. And I wanted more time freedom. When you're working 12 hours a day, even though a lot of people say, well, you get 4 days off a week. Yeah, but those 12 hours, you're tired. So sometimes you're running errands and you're taking a day just to physically recoup.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted time freedom. I wanted financial freedom. I wanted a more relaxed day. I wanted to get up and own my time and own my day. And you can't necessarily do that on a job. I don't care if it's nursing or whatever, but I just feel like on a job, you're limited in owning your day and owning your time.
I love it. So now, I think that some people think, I tell people all the time, people think that nursing, like you make lots and lots of money. But the reality is that if you don't, which I encourage everybody to do, if you go into nursing, right? Because some
Yeah.
people go into nursing and they never plan to be at the bedside. Okay.
Yes.
I admire those people. I never knew anything about that. But
Mhm.
I'm glad that I got the experience that I did because
Mhm.
it really helps me to have a different perspective.
Yes.
But, the cap is that because I remember being told that it was 2 to 3% that we were going to get as a raise every year. And I was like, well, I mean, that don't sound like a lot.
It's not. Not when inflation goes up 3% every year.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're
So
basically
I
making the same thing. You're not getting a raise.
exactly. And so I was like, I don't know. And I didn't even know that at the time, right? I didn't
Mhm.
even know, like I didn't know those inflation numbers at the time. I just knew that some side right? And
Mhm.
being able to be able to work, and to
Yes.
coach and to have your knowledge based off of your knowledge, right? Because this is
Yeah,
something that you actually lived through.
exactly.
And, and you were able to help, you know, other people,
Hmm.
get through this thing because it is not, I mean, living a healthy lifestyle when you're hanging around with people who are always not living a healthy lifestyle is not the easiest thing to do.
No, it's not. Or sometimes people are unintentionally living unhealthy. Like I said, I was just busy all the time, and I was so busy, I was not intentionally living. I was not intentionally meal prepping. I was not intentionally scheduling gym time. But if it's something to
Mm.
do with the job, I'll make sure I schedule that. I'll make sure I schedule to get those CEUs and go to that BLS class or ACLS class. So we schedule those things, but we're not scheduling our health stuff.
That's so good. That's so good. I love that. I love that. Now, what do you want to tell the people about your business? Some other things you want to tell them.
I want to tell you that you can actually live a full life, be that ambitious boss babe, and still incorporate it into your health. And it doesn't have to be a long, drawn out thing. There's things that you can do to seamlessly just get it into your lifestyle where it is habit like breathing. It starts with mindset, and then I go from there. The first thing we have to work on is your mindset, because a lot of people say, I don't even have time to go to the doctor. Well, guess what? The undertaker's going to make a lot of time at your funeral.
Right.
So let's make the time now so we can live quality, vital lives.
I love it. And mindset is 80% of everything.
Yes, it is.
Everything.
Yes, it
If
is.
you, if you if and I didn't realize that, but it's those underlying programs that are programmed, and everything that you learn before the age of 7, right, is
Mhm.
is programmed, right?
Exactly.
And so you have to deprogram that thing every single solitary day. And you
Yes, we
have to start doing that. I remember one of the reasons why I every now and then, like, I will overeat. It's because I remember I was and I will never forget this. I was standing at the door. I was super skinny when I was younger, okay?
do.
Incredibly, like you couldn't blow. Yeah. I, fall over. Like because I just didn't eat. It was not a priority for me. And I
Mhm.
remember I called my mom one day because I almost passed out. My mom was like, "Did you eat today?" And this is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, I don't think I did. So,
Yeah.
and so as time went on, it kept happening and I kept having that bad feeling, right? And so
Mhm.
then I would eat proactively, even if I wasn't hungry, because
Mm.
I didn't want to have the bad feeling that I had during that time. And I just
Yes.
had to learn that it's gonna be okay for you to be a little hungry. I mean, you got a little fat to carry you around. You be all right. So,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good. So now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna transition into our rapid fire questions. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
All right. So, what has been the most rewarding thing about nursing?
Impacting lives.
I love it. I love it. Can you tell us without being, without violating HIPAA, right?
Mhm.
A time when you felt like you've impacted a life.
I was taking care of this patient, and she had a lot of neurological stuff. A lot of my background is in trauma and neurosurgery. So she was having a lot of neurological things. And I also believe that we can blend Eastern and Western medicine.
Hmm.
So I was giving some simple things that she can do at home in addition to taking her medicine, because I always tell you follow your doctor's instructions, but just those things to eradicate her migraines. And she was having a lot of neurological issues with walking, mobility. She was using a cane. So I was just giving her some simple things she can do, just talking to her. She's my patient. And she came back to the hospital to visit somebody else. And I happened to be working, and she came to me and basically ran to me. She says, I'm not using a walker anymore. I'm not having headaches anymore. She said, I just feel like you cured me. And I was like, oh, she said, I barely need any medicine anymore. I was like, well, let's keep that hush because I don't want Big Pharma coming for me. Because I wasn't telling her that this stuff so she could not take her medication. It was just so she could live a better quality of life. But that made me feel good.
I love it. I love it. I love it. They can come for y'all that want to. We got something for them. Okay.
Yes.
What are the most common misconceptions about nursing?
Oh, well, that we're cute and we make a lot of money and we don't do a lot of work.
I mean, we all cute now. We all cute. But anyway, go ahead. We make a lot of money.
Yes. They watch Grey's Anatomy, and I always am surprised when patients say, oh, you're going to put in my IV? Oh, you have a stethoscope? Yes, it's not the doctor's stethoscope. It's mine, and I use it, and I actually do an assessment. So, yes.
I love it. I love it. That is too funny. What are you reading now?
Ooh, I wish I could say it was something delicious and fun. But right now I am reading a book by Stu McLaren about memberships. And there's the guy that Brian Moran that wrote the 12-week year. I don't know if you ever heard of him in the 12-week year. Okay, he has another one called Accountability and Profitability with another guy. I can't even think of the other author's name that he just wrote that was just released in February, and I'm reading that.
And what is it called again?
It's called Accountability and Profitability.
Ah, gotcha.
So it's kind of like a spin off of the 12-week year.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. I love it. Listen, I'm not the reading a juicy novel type of girl anymore. Like I used to be, but then, I used to read all the, who was the guy? The Patterson, those murder mysteries, and then Nick, I forgot what his name is, but he's actually here in North Carolina. He's from Beaufort. He actually reads all these sappy love novels, right? He writes all these sappy love novels, and it's really good. But I can't. I'm if I want to spend my time, I'm gonna spend my time learning something. So listen. You are good. What are some of the biggest lessons that you have learned in business?
Ooh, consistency. I think I've gotten as far as I have as quickly as I've had this time is because I was consistent and I kept the end goal in mind. It doesn't matter what it looks like. I have to remind myself that when I plant a tree, I'm not going to expect to see the tree full grown with fruit blooming the next day. And as long as I know, I look at my numbers, because now I'm starting to be a numbers girl, and I will modify, but I stay consistent to the plan.
I wonder where you got that from.
Yeah. Yes, you.
Who is the leader, living or dead, that you would like to have a conversation with?
Ooh, a leader, living or dead. The guy that wrote The Kabbalion, this is probably Tres Magiste or something like that. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Yeah, it's more like that esoteric spiritual stuff, but yeah, Tres Magiste, he wrote The Kabbalion.
And what is it about?
The Kabbalion is about the 7 universal principles that we go by, like the law of polarity, the law of first principle. So it's different things like that and how we live our lives, because we really live our lives on universal principle. So I would love to, it was written centuries ago.
Nothing under the sun has changed. People think that it has changed, but nothing under the sun has changed. It's the same business principles that worked in 1948. It's the same ones that work today, and the same life principles. So, what is your favorite movie?
It's still the original Color Purple. The remake was nice, but it's not like the original.
I like the new one. Like, I think maybe it's because I had spent so many years watching the other one. I think I understood the newer one better.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I still watch the old one.
And of course I love Fantasia. So that was, that was the whole thing. Now, how do you define success?
To me, success is 360. It's not just how much money I have in my bank account, the relationships I have with my family and my friends. Am I living the life that I want to live, which will be time freedom, financial freedom, traveling, and just enjoying life? That's success to me.
Love it. What's your life's motto?
Besides longevity is not a destination, it's a lifestyle.
Mm,
Uh, Live, love, and laugh.
I love it. I
Mhm.
told my daughter this. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. So I told my daughter that, okay?
Mhm.
And so she's in college and she's on Twitter. And so I'm looking at her Twitter account and she's a Rihanna fan. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so, Rihanna has this tattoo that's right here. Okay.
Mhm.
And so when I'm on Twitter, I'm looking and I was like, does that child have a tattoo? Now, mind you, she ain't old enough to get no tattoo. And I know I have not approved for one. Okay. So I was like, so I immediately FaceTime her and I said, I said, show me your shoulder. She shows me her other shoulder. Okay. And I
Uh-oh.
and I didn't have the presence of mind to ask to show me both shoulders. So she
Mhm.
comes home and she has this V-neck. This is for her 18th birthday, okay? Because she was
Mhm.
17 when she got it. This V-neck shirt, and then the tattoo is peeping out. I said, you got that tattoo.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it was live, laugh, love. That's exactly what it was on the.
Oh my gosh. I did not know that. Yes, I love it. Yes.
Too funny, too funny. Now, where can people find you?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and my podcast on Spotify at Ask Nurse Sherrie. And that's Sherrie. So it's ASK Nurse Sherrie. And then on Twitter or X, you can find me at Ask Sherrie RN.
Now, and is it Ask Sherry all over the place, or is it just Sherry?
It's Ask Sherrie
Ask
all
Sherry.
over.
Good. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So, listen, if y'all want to have a long life that's
Yes.
fruitful,
Yes.
I encourage you to go and check out Sherry because I mean, her posts to me are just phenomenal. I mean, I look at her food and I'm like, well, I mean, I can eat that, right? I can do
Yes.
that. So it would behoove you to go and check Sherry out. So it was a pleasure, pleasure, pleasure having you on the podcast today. And you ladies and gentlemen, like, share, comment, and you have a phenomenal rest of your day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yes. Thank you. Bye bye.